You know, I was paying attention to something. Sunday paper comes, and everybody races for the funnies. And the little bitty ones who haven't quite made it to school yet, they get them and they spread them out on the floor, and they're laughing. They can't read a word. They don't know two. But they look at that sequence of things, and it amuses them. And the moment that they take their hands off it, the ones who are in school, they get it, and they're reading it, and they are really cracking up. They read the storyline. They understand it. So they think. And then finally, the adults, at last, who pay for it, get to see it. And they're laughing, but they're laughing very differently. They're seeing the social commentary there. They're understanding all the subtleties that are being communicated here with the satire and such. And that's why I constantly harp on Gary and Sally for what they're doing, because that's a different level of appreciation, comprehension, and integration. Don't want you to read the Bible like it's a story that you just skim over that is entertainment, love good, hate evil. Come on, there's way more to it than that. And this is a story where that's particularly the case. First of all, if you're reading that story, a lot of the Bible translations are wrong. It's two left shoes with a hole in the bottom. It calls that guy talking to Jesus a lawyer. Guy is not a lawyer. Guy is a member of the Supreme. Guy is a scribe. That might not be very enlightening in itself, because scribes are professional readers and writers. Not so in the Hebrew population. Scribes are divine law experts. These are the guys who know the minuscule things that are there in the covenants and in the Torah, and it is the necessity of the leaders and the rulers to talk to these people before they make any decisions, so that they do nothing that conflicts with what divine law requires. They also are foreign language experts, because they have to write what are called targums, common language versions of the scriptures, and they have to do that with a level of precision that lets the people who are using these translations be inerrant. So that's who is talking to Jesus. Now, the scribes and Jesus don't have the best of histories. That little thing we call Christ disputes the elders, some stuff is going on there. The 12-year-old kid who goes up, picks up the scroll, reads in flawless biblical Hebrew, then translates it properly, and then answers the questions. The bar mitzvah thing. Those people questioning them are scribes. And the reason why they're so flabbergasted is they're the ones supposed to be telling him what stuff means. He's telling them, boy, are you ever wrong about that? Let me straighten you out. So, it's kind of like this friction going between them. But that's not what's going on here. This guy is very respectful of Jesus. He really knows that Jesus has these insights that he needs. He calls him rabbi. And that's quite an honor coming from a scribe. But Jesus does use rabbinical forms of instruction, so that's possibly where that's coming from. It's not an adversarial relationship. In this story, you have a priest, you have a Levite, you have a Samaritan, all come upon this man who has been attacked by robbers, beaten savagely. They even stole his clothes and left him lying there naked, bleeding, muddy on the side of the road. The priest looks at him, as does the Levite, and says, well, number one, he's got blood on him, so I'm not going to touch him, because that's going to make me ritually impure. And after all, I'm one of the people associated with the temple, and I can't make myself impure. I have more important things to be dealing with. So he'll just lay there. really? You know, the prophets have been saying from day one, all these little ticky-tacky rules you like so much, that's not for God. That's for you. That's to keep things in focus, keep things in proportion. But it's a guideline. You see that person laying there, and you're saying, well, what I'm about is so high and lofty that I can't go down to that level to help another human being. God is looking at you like, you stupid little snob. You're so full of yourself that you've lost touch with what you're supposed to be. But that's all right. I'll send somebody. And he sends a Samaritan. Good grief. Samaritans. Those people are loathed by the Jews. Why so? Well, it's a long-running feud that develops over a long period of time. When the Assyrians got sick and tired of the Hebrews annoying them, they came in and they marched out these people that we called the 10 lost tribes, and they thinly settled them among other people where they would be so viciously persecuted that they'd try to blend in, and sure enough, they lost their culture, they lost their language, they lost their identity. They're no longer able to even be identified as Hebrews or Jews. But the little remnant that was left behind, coupled with the handful of people that the Assyrians sprinkled among them, in that region around Mount Gerizim, they became known as the Samaritans because they're in Samaria. When finally the Jews in Judea aggravated the Babylonians enough, they said, well, we don't have to march them all out. All we have to do is get the heart and the brains, and we'll be okay. So they take all these guys off. So now you've got a sprinkling of Jews in the south, and you got this group of people that's this admixture in the middle. And finally, when Cyrus comes along and says you can go back, they find they can't cooperate anymore. Why? Because I got the true religion, and you doing some messed up stuff. That's some really important stuff there. Stuff that we don't ever talk to you about. How is it that you think God whispers exclusively in your ear? How is it that you think that somehow or other you have the true religion? So God didn't care about anybody before Abraham or Moses or Jesus or Muhammad. Just the hell with all those folks. God never revealed anything to them. God never guided anybody. God never redeemed anybody else. So those billions of people, they don't count. Just you and your little group got the true religion. Do you know how stupid that is? You can fix some things, but you can't fix that level of stupidity. So what do we have here? You're worshiping the same God. You're doing most of the same rituals. But now you're saying, I have a right to look down on you and to be stepping back away from you. Jesus is not buying this. Jesus is not buying it at all. Who's the first non-Jew from among the Hebrews that Jesus ever gave the good news of the gospel to and say, go spread this? A woman and a Samaritan. You see, Jesus really loves aggravating these people. He loves showing them how backwards that they've got these things that they think they somehow other are the champions of. He's always telling them, look, you know something? God doesn't need you. There's nothing you can do for God. This stuff is for you. What you need to do is try to be the best human being that you can be. And that starts by treating other people with love and respect and with dignity. They believe this and you don't, that's fine. Don't do that. Don't believe that. You're responsible for the revelation made to you. You're not sitting on the throne of judgment in heaven. You are there to keep yourself and your household in compliance. You're supposed to spread the good news. You're not supposed to go out and beat every dang gone body up who don't believe what you believe. You're not supposed to be scar-dragging everybody behind the chariot because God is whispering in your ear and somehow or other you're special. It doesn't work that way. But that's the way we want to live. We've got it right, you've got it wrong. I should tell you what to do with yourself. Because after all, I know the right thing to do. Yeah, people running around, couldn't pass high school biology, but yet they're telling you what to do with your body. You know, they are people who are looking at you, and they're telling you, here's what the priorities ought to be. Because after all, guns don't kill people, people kill people. So you need to shut up and go with the flow. They run around telling you, well, I mean, we got to be responsible for ourselves. So those people on those food stamps and on all of these welfare programs, they need to be happy that we're doing it. You see, we're getting so much like that priest and like that Levite that God is really getting impatient with us. It takes a lot to piss God off. We're doing it, and we're doing it big time. Why? Because we are so full of ourselves, you know. And this story is not just about being nice to people. It's about being what God put you here for. You are supposed to be his partner in kingdom building. You're supposed to take your gifts and your talents and recognize God put you here and put you in situations that you are uniquely talented for. And you are a key to opening the door for somebody. But if we're so busy being important, we're so busy being in the know, we're so busy being exclusive, we wind up going down the left or the right and not fulfilling our purpose and our promise. And so, yes, let's be good to the guys who are in distress, but also let's be good to our call, to our spirit, to our God, to our neighbor. Let us love the way God said to love. It's not just that we all come from the mitochondrial mother in Africa. That's not what makes us all one. What makes us all one is the spirit that God put in us from the start. The thing that blazes us into human beings, the things that makes us the sons and the daughters of God. So be good Samaritans, my friend. God bless you.